Well, we have a question from Noah. Noah, I wanted to ask if you had any opinions on how old-time strongmen like Sandow, Saxon, Hackenschmidt trained. I only know what I've read. Now I know I've read Hackenschmidt's book for sure, and I know Saxon's work because of some of the lifts he did, and I know Sandow because he's just such an important figure of the period. How did they train? The most interesting thing, and just remember this, they didn't have adjustable weights. They had fixed weights. So back then, you would get a bar, let's just say 100 pounds, and it doesn't matter if it's kilos or pounds, but let's, for the example, and you would lift it, and you would do as many exercises as you could with that load. And in an exercise like the press, when you first got it, you could press it one time. Over time, you'd press it 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got stronger. Pretty soon, you'd press it 5 to 8 times, and you'd begin to hit into hypertrophy and some power, I guess. And then you go to 8 to 12, and you start to slide over into muscular endurance, and pretty soon you're up to 25, and the load was too light. So then you think to yourself, that bar's too light, so let's try it one-handed. And then you try one-handed, or you'd lay on the ground and you'd do go arm's length and do a Turkish get up, or you'd roll it on your back and do some kind of thing. Most of them, so with fixed weights, you played around with this implement, this toy, until you got kind of good at doing it. It's kind of a real lost concept in strength training. Delorme and Watkins developed this concept of what we now call sets and reps. It's really relatively new, just barely older than I am. The other thing they did is they also spent a lot of time with just about anything they could pick up, and they would just invent movements. When you read the books, they're doing just anything they can think of because they don't have adjustable weights first, and then the other thing is that there's no real school, there's no tradition yet because they're literally inventing the tradition of what it means to lift weights. When you look back on films from the 1930s of Olympic lifting, you look at the techniques. John Davis, the great multi-world champion, you look at his techniques and they're just, well, I don't want to get too deep, but they're not very good. But over time we get better and better and better. What important things can we take from them that aren't in current strength training vogue? Well, the idea, and I think this is like, I said this years ago, if all I had was a 16 kilogram kettlebell and you said, Dan, get better, if that's all I had, my brain and my training would have to leap up and figure out ways to get better. That's the thing I think is best. We have a gym over here, not Epic where I train, but another one right next to it. And you go in there and they have 5,000 different machines. They've got to have, and I mean this, 13 or 14 different curl machines. And I see all these guys who look like they've never lifted weights in their life in there for hours. And they're doing all kinds of different varietals of this machine. And you never see them improve. This is a basic teaching point I have. Deprivation leads to increased capacity. If you don't have everything, you figure out ways to do things better. So Noah, really, the greatest thing you can learn from them is, as I'm saying this, we're in the middle of the coronavirus, and I'm just wondering if on the other side of this, people are going to come away better, faster, more defined, bigger, because everyone has to now use their brain to deal with the lack of equipment. So yeah, I think there are some great lessons to learn from those guys. Did they do everything right? No, not even close. But they were inventing things as they went along. And sometimes that's more right than right. All right, my friend, thanks so much.